You have parts of the Democratic establishment who are way, way out of touch with where the American people are or where we have got to go. And our job is to build a political movement. We're going to build that movement, grassroots movement, to do what Mamdani did in New York City, all over this country.
That's Senator Bernie Sanders loud and clear on his desire to see progressives control the Democrat Party. And the far left's tide of socialism is rising. The Wall Street Journal editorial board writes, quote, Schumer is forced to endure struggle sessions with the party's Mamdani Red Guards. Every Democrat, even considering a run for 2028 nomination, pandered to the never-compromised crowd. This is now the party's dominant wing, end of quote. The Democrat Socialists of America say tens of thousands of new members joined in the last year alone, with more than 80,000 in their ranks now. National correspondent Griff Jenkins in Washington. Griff.
Yeah, Harris, 80,000 strong and growing, and a rising faction within the Democrat Party's battle for power. And the DSA are feeling emboldened. They're blasting Democrats who caved in the government shutdown, saying this: we condemn the cowardly Democratic Party senators who sold out their constituents to support Trump's deal. It's no wonder the Democratic Party's leadership is less popular than ever. The only thing that can stop fascism is socialism. Democratic socialism is more popular than ever. It's why Zoran Mamdani and Democratic socialists across the country were able to beat the billionaire class last Tuesday. And the DSA is hoping that socialist spark the Mamdani lit in New York will help socialist candidate Katie Wilson, you see here, riding a red wave into the mayor's mansion in Seattle. Take a look at the latest numbers. You see Wilson narrowly leading incumbent Bruce Harrell by a half a point. But consider just 24 hours ago, Harris, Wilson was leading by 91 votes. Now this morning she's pulled ahead by more than 1,000. And Wilson is just the latest Mamdani Red Guard candidate, as the Journal calls them. Bernie Sanders is now fanning those flames, as you mentioned, backing this new wave of contenders like Michigan's Abdul El-Sayed for Senate, who is also endorsed by Rashida Tlaib. And we are also watching to see if a DSA-aligned challenger on the New York City Council will jump into a primary battle with Hakeem Jeffries. As for Seattle, that race has until November 24th to count ballots. But if Wilson continues to pull away, America could have two prominent socialist mayors. Harris?
Griff, thank you. You set up the conversation great for the Power Panel. David Avella, GOPAC chairman, and Yemisi Egbawale, former chief of staff to the Biden White House press office. Yemisi, had you any idea that there were this many people feeling so far left and feeling socialist and in some categories of policy communist in your party?
Well, I can say that frustrations with Chuck Schumer are probably the conduit for a lot of this and why people are speaking out. And I might agree for the first time with a small portion of the progressive base in feeling frustration with our current leadership. I mean, we spent over 40 days and 40 nights facing harm from this shutdown. And the one question a lot of centrists had for leadership is, what is it all for? And I think if you cannot answer that question directly, that's a political and moral failure.
I think we can answer it. I mean, Catherine Clark answered it. She said it was about leverage, that Democrat lawmaker. And when the leverage, I guess, had run out because people are hungry and planes are stalled on the ground, I guess then we got to a different place and 8 capitulated. But they did the right thing, and your party is punishing them. David.
Oh, you think about Chuck Schumer earlier this year was for keeping the government open, and this time he's against keeping the government open. And January 21st is going to come again, and is he going to be for keeping the government open
it's a great
or closing the government? Yeah. And it's interesting. Bernie Sanders has had a lot of success, to his credit, at electing progressives to mayoral offices across the country, where the Democratic strongholds already are. But if you look in Virginia and you look in New Jersey, the 2 governors that just got elected campaigned as centrist. And so their party still has to struggle and decide, are we going to seek to be centrist that can win statewide races, or are we only going to play to our base sitting in big cities?
You know what's interesting about that? So Obama got involved in that race, in all those races that you just mentioned, right? And it took his voice in Cobalt Blue, New Jersey. I know I live there. But then he picked up the phone and called Mamdani, reportedly. So they're all on the same playbook, is what I'm saying, David. It may seem like they're centrist, but they're going to have to prove that. And how much will they pay in your party?
Well, look, I think that a lot of these progressives that are winning in these very deep blue areas, I think they're going to have trouble winning statewide. I mean, Bernie Sanders can get a lot of progressive leaders, but can he win nationally? He didn't win when he was put up against somebody like Hillary Clinton. I'm not so sure
Your party
that
worked against him. They had people, so a lot of those people are getting ready to retire.
Bernie Sanders decided to keep himself as an independent. If he'd like to run and lead the Democratic Party, I say switch over and become a Democrat.
And even he admits there's only 9 progressives in the Senate that he can count on for a vote. So here's the reality. Everybody can complain about Chuck Schumer, but there's enough votes to take him out as leader. There's only 9 who would vote against him.
Wow. Well, Trump activist and president of the progressive nonprofit called Indivisible says the Democrats who voted to end the government shutdown can expect to feel the left's flank full force in their next primaries. Watch this.
This capitulation was so complete that it will be impossible to hide. Everybody can see that the party is not up to the task now. And so we should be asking every single Senate Democratic candidate, are you supporting Chuck Schumer for leadership? And if you are, you don't got my vote. We're launching the largest primary program in the history of Indivisible. And it's going to be focused not on ideology, but on building a Democratic Party that fights back.
So, David, we might see that they're not indivisible. They're completely dividable.
They're completely divided. And we were just talking about it. Look, you had the 2 candidates that just won for governor in New Jersey and Virginia campaigned as centrist. That's how you win statewide races, or you certainly campaign on your ideas that helps bring in the other side into your coalition. That's not what they're talking about doing. That's not what these mayors are talking about doing. That's not what Bernie is talking about doing. He is talking about being completely about the base. And again, for all these House members and for these activists that are saying for Chuck Schumer to go, there's not the votes to do it.
Look, I know Megyn has sung it. It's all about the base. But is that going to work for you?
No, look, a lot of the folks that are critical of Chuck Schumer are very loud online, but they don't know how to whip and how to actually push a leader out. I've seen people talk about pushing McConnell out, pushing Pelosi out. They left on their own terms. Now, do I believe Chuck Schumer should wrap up as leader? Of course. I think that it's time for a new generation to come forth.
Before I let you go, I have to ask this question. You said it was all basically for nothing. The whole 43 days were in it. But they just signed the same deal that you had a week or 2 into this whole horrible situation for millions of Americans. So you'd still want people to be stuck if they were holding out?
I think Chuck Schumer backed himself into a corner. When he started this, he said that he could win it, and he said that Democrats were winning every single day. And I think he gave up before he even found a real path forward. I mean, I don't think you enter into a shutdown if you don't know how it's going to come out at the end.
All right. Good to see you both. Thank you.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.